Good coffee is not an accident.
Obviously, when you're buying a coffee, you want it to be a really good taste.
Yeah. There's no secret. It's just really, really hard work.
I think if you're going to try and achieve excellence in anything, you've got to attempt to understand the process, control variables, and be able to replicate it.
I guess keeping a consistent product is really difficult given the seasonality of coffee.
It's all about origin. Yeah, coffee's a fruit and it's in season. If you don't understand the soil and don't understand the origin, you don't really understand coffee.
From the moment they plant the seed all the way through until it drops into the cup, everything has to be controlled and monitored and understood.
But still it needs to be of a certain standard to make it out the door, so that's been a bit of a challenge.
This cup has 3,000 drops in it. How much can we squeeze into those different drops? And I think there's an enormous amount that we can do with that.
The higher art form of coffee, that must be underpinned by good science and good reporting and just really an understanding of the process, because otherwise it's really just whimsical.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
The aspect that brought me to coffee the most was the whole trade of coffee around the world and how this little plant in such a different place could suddenly be in a cup on your table here and in such a different state, and having gone through so many different transformations without people really thinking it through. Most people drink coffee daily without giving too much thought as to where it's actually come from.
It wouldn't be a week here probably where he hasn't got beans from a new kind of country or a new supply that he's kind of testing out. Creating a good, strong blend isn't something that happens easily.
There's a lot of room to develop every single step of that process, and in Melbourne a lot of people work on the beverage processing, the roasting, but that's, you know, the final couple of steps, and there's still a lot of steps before you even get the coffee on the shore.
It starts with knowing your supply chain. So we travel to origin. I travel probably 3 to 4 months of the year to either international coffee competitions or travel to origin to find and recognise farmers that are growing great coffee, and then buy it and then bring it back here.
50 or so people influence it until it comes as a cup of coffee to your table. So it's grown, it's harvested, it's processed by a farmer, it's then dried, and it's been hulled, so there's normally a shell around it, and gets packed into bags, chosen by an exporter, or if we go to origin and choose it ourselves, gets fitted into a container, shipped across the ocean, released through customs, brought to a roastery. We then trial roast it and taste it and see how it's going, figure out a roast profile, so how we cook it essentially, and then we figure out how we'd like to prepare it and extract on the bar and then serve it to you.
The cherries are picked, they rest for 4 weeks, and then they're shipped to us. So by the time we get them in Australia, they're about 8, 9 weeks, maybe 10.
So it starts with that purchasing. We understand where it comes from and what it is that we want. We ship it out here on the shortest possible route times, ship them in GrainPro bags, everything that preserves the quality of the coffee. We land it here in the factory, and then from there we undergo a strict quality control system that underpins our roasting program. We bag the coffee the same day, valve bags, and then from there we try to control that process as much as possible with great coffee trainers, great baristas, and state-of-the-art equipment.
coffee's a seasonal product. It's like a fruit, and it starts to degrade through time. So we need to get it here quickly, otherwise it'll start to taste woody, not as vibrant.
Okay.
So that's Australia's main problem with getting coffee across. And then the baristas have a whole lot of chances to screw it up as well.
Okay, all right.
When it first started, I think a lot of people came for the artwork in the space, and we were building the cafe. But now the cafe itself is incredibly busy all the time. I mean, it's Sunday and it's not even noon yet, and it's packed. You know what's funny? I'm from Seattle, a very big coffee city. I lived in Europe for a while, I lived in Rome, another big coffee city, but it was only until I got here did I even start drinking coffee.
So what do you think is the similarities between coffee and art in Melbourne?
I think people just like to be different here. There's the street art and the art in our cafe. So yeah, it's just a way of expressing ourselves, and yeah, Melbourne's a pretty good place for that.
The coffee is really good, and I think the main thing is it's like it reflects our character. So the coffee itself, if that's not good, what's in the heart of the coffee, then it'll kind of show on the outside, and you even to taste.
Everywhere does something on the surface, but what we do is a little bit different, a little bit quirky.
So Melburnians are quite the coffee enthusiasts.
Yes.
What do you think we should be looking for in a good cup of coffee?
It kind of goes without saying that we want it to taste good, and that we want it to be the right price, probably convenient as well. But I would say, you know, as a consumer, one of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that the dollar that we're spending, or probably the $3.50 we're spending if we're buying a coffee, brings about the most positive social and environmental change possible. So I would always kind of encourage coffee customers, I guess, to just try and find out about the supply chain. Where's the coffee come from? Who's making it? Some of that backstory, because if you can buy coffee that's changing lives at the same time, well, and you're getting the coffee hit and and everything else that you want, why wouldn't you choose that? So I would say don't underestimate the power of that $3.50 spend, because over time accumulated, we're all going to drink thousands of coffees across our lifetime. That little accumulated spend can really significantly change lives.
You guys have really stringent standards to make sure one cup tastes exactly the same as the next cup. Can you tell me about some of those?
We just use basic scientific method, really, just trying to measure as many things as can be measured, which means that we then know what's going on. So we try to weigh how much coffee we're using, how much the espresso weighs, how long it takes to come out. We refract our coffees as well, so that's measuring the refractive index of the liquid. It can tell us a few things about the strength of the coffee, how much we've extracted, how our equipment's performing and things like that. And then I get the baristas to record that.
It was really easy for people to take a bottle and then take it away and drink it in their own office or in the car or at home without feeling like they had any expectation of what it was going to be. Like if you get a filter coffee or a siphon coffee in a cafe, you're drinking it in the cafe, you're sitting there, there's kind of an expectation behind the product, whereas Machete can be pulled into any environment and the drink doesn't change at all. Like you could be anywhere and still have a nice, well-prepared filter coffee. And that's going to have a direct impression on your enjoyment of it as your environment when you consume it.
And I guess, despite Melbourne's size in terms of population, it's, in my opinion, and those of many in the speciality space, a global opinion maker, and it's leading the renaissance.